In the last episode, From on MGM left viewers wondering what would happen to the main characters. Now, the show's second season has begun. That being said, this new season has raised more questions than it has solved. In the last episode of the first season, Boyd and Sarah went deeper into the wild territory to find a way for the people who lived in the hellish town to get out. A lighthouse caught their attention when they got to the end of their trip. They were getting more worried about finding cover as the weather got worse and daylight decreased. The mysterious child, who was dressed in white, sent a message to Sarah telling her and her friend to hide in a faraway tree. Boyd walks in and is instantly taken to a deep dry well in a place he doesn't know. At the same time, Tabitha discovers the hole in the basement at the Matthews home in town. She finally gets to the lowest level as it falls even further. Victor goes to the underground spot and tells Tabitha that's where the scary creatures that live at night live. They both go to find a way out. Along with the other people in the town, Jim and Jade were able to build a tower that could send messages to other places. On the other hand, Jim got a scary message from the other side about his wife, which made him quickly go back to their house. At the end of the season, a bus full of people arrived in town. The first episode of the new season picks up right where the last episode of the old season left off. Sheriff Boyd rings a bell at the start of the show to let the villagers know that night is coming. When he feels his right hand shaking, it sends chills down his spine. He wakes up from a dream but can't get out of the well that is empty. As soon as the bus gets into town, Elgin starts to move. As Tom walks out of the bar, the bus is drawing his attention. The driver, Bekta, is being begged by Elgin to stop while he watches. Randall grabs Bekta from behind, making him throw up, and he has to stop the bus. To keep the radio gear safe, Jade and the others bring it inside out of the rain. He is moving the tools when the bus comes up and grabs his attention. Donna tells the people in the area to stay cool during an electrical surge caused by the rain. Julie Matthews calls Donna to ask where her father Jim is when she realizes he is nowhere to be found, but Donna doesn't say anything. As she leaves, Donna tells Ellis to take her back to the colony house. Jade tells her about the bus that goes to work. Jim Matthews checks out the damage in the basement, while Victor and Tabitha look for a way out of the tube below. His search for her will never end, even if she is dead. As they make their way through the town's maze of tunnels, Tabitha starts to wonder where they're going. Victor says that the boy in white showed him how to get around the tube system after he found a suitcase. When they open it, they see a thin white fabric inside. Christy takes care of Clara's glasses. What Donna and Kenny, the new sheriff, are talking about is how the strangers showed up out of the blue. Donna tells Matthias, please get the shotguns. Kenny tries to talk her out of getting guns because he wants to be nicer and doesn't think they will be needed. Donna tells him that he is now in charge. Even though it's pouring down rain, Randall leads the charge to help people inside the diner. In the rain, an old tourist spins and twirls but can't get anyone else to join him. Mari, a pediatric nurse, checks on Elgin while Brick watches. Botka goes to get some cleaning supplies so that he can clean up the waste. Nobody pays attention to Elgin's apologies. While Ellis and Tom talk about the newcomers, Julie looks for Jim. Then, Tom introduces himself. Julie discovers her mother is gone when she finds Jim. He urges her to find Ethan as a diversion before he finally asks her to seek assistance. It dawns on him that he won't be able to dig the enormous hole by himself. Julie tells everyone what a horrible state her parents' basement is in as Ellis and Tom attempt to reassure the newcomers. A rescue mission is launched by Tom and Randall. The others are escorted by Victor into the subterranean passageway. He tells Tabitha to keep quiet whenever she attempts to inquire. With each step they take, the risk increases. Up above, Boyd cries out for assistance. A male voice, whose identity is a mystery, interrupts his attempts to contact Sarah, and then someone drops a rope down the well. In an effort to deter additional rescue efforts, Clara questions Jade as to whether or not a strong external force was involved in the electrical surge. His last joint is going to be enjoyed to the maximum, despite his admission that he has no idea. Her departure catches him off guard, and he starts hallucinating until a terrifying puppet catches his eye. The puppet waits a few seconds before releasing a terrifying scream. Screaming is his sole reaction. Elizabeth Moy is given a dustpan and Brooke by Ethan to help with the cleanup. He inquires as to her best estimate of when the others will return before he leaves. He can count on her to lend him a hand and reassure him when he's scared. Elizabeth then goes on a tirade in her shaky English about reassuring him and shielding him from harm. Before going outside with Jade, he reassures her that he isn't scared. Jade brings up the botched rescue attempt after some back and forth over the risks of smokes. He is reassured by Ethan that he will attempt it again. Locating Victor's room is Jade's first worry. While taking a break, Victor notices that Jade's hallucinations feature the same puppet. He quickly abandons his flashlight and runs away, overcome with fear. After Tabitha consoles him, they resume their descent into the tunnel system. In Victor's room, Jade is trying to find the answers to some unspoken questions. He finds Ethan's intrusion annoying, and Ethan lets him know. Before apologizing for her candor, Jade implies that Victor has already passed away. Everyone is involved in the nightmare, according to Ethan's theory. Ethan questions Jade's fascination with Victor once he discovers what he's seeking. The source of the notebook and Jade's recent hallucinations are both detailed by the author. In Ethan's view, the emblem serves as a signal. Realizing it's up to him to decide if it's good or evil makes Jade very unhappy. As the strangers find themselves in an unusual situation, Donna takes the time to explain it to them in the diner parking lot. She hurries through her explanation as darkness approaches. While Mari keeps an eye on Elgin, he has recovered enough to get off the bus, and Botka's uncertainty is showing. Just as Jim is about to reach the bottom of the pit, the whole thing will crumble. The newcomers standing outside the restaurant see the building fall. Quickly, Julie goes to see if Jim is okay, and she finds that he is. Randall is helped out of the rubble by Christy and Kenny. A little rock sculpture forces Tabitha and Victor to halt. The statue topples over as a ball rolls in from the distant corner. Several monsters who were sleeping nearby are startled awake by the noise. Now that their route is entirely obstructed, she notices a water track. In a room with a little pond, they find the water trail. Injuries to Randall and Elgin are promptly checked. As Mari and Christy search the bus for a first aid kit, they come to the realization that they have a history. Back in their own country, they dated. As Boyd continues to have hallucinations of Ellis, his kid, he gradually climbs out of the well. Astonished, he retreats a few feet into the well. When he has collected himself, he begins to climb toward the door. Everyone from locals to visitors is pitching in to help Jim, Tom, and Brick get out of the rubble. The rescue effort is really weakening the structure, Jim finds out. He updates the others on his discoveries. He thinks you should be more careful. Julie, who is distraught, tells him that sunset is coming up fast. The rescue will have to wait till later, they determine. Getting everyone back on the bus is baked as top priority. On her way to get her shotgun, Donna accidentally shoots the front passenger tire. Fatima quickly gathers the visitors back together after they go in separate directions. To ensure her safety, Ellis follows behind. To subdue the crowd, Kenny fires a shot into the sky. To escape the well, Boyd uses his climbing skills. He notices a weak man bound to the wall. In a rush, he points his revolver at the elderly man who advised him to take his life. To observe a weak man bound to the wall. The episode closes with him pointing his gun at the elderly man who advises him to murder him. In the second episode, Boyd and the person who saved him meet in person at the top of the well. As Boyd draws his gun, he wants to know who the prisoner is and why he is chained up. A man named Martin comes up and talks. Although Boyd is taking off the man's bonds, he notices his unique marine tattoo. Donna and Kenny have invited most of the new people to the diner. It looks like chaos everywhere you look. It's very important for her to stay inside the restaurant at all costs. They try to talk to Bekta about getting free. Donna assures her that nothing bad will happen. The only newbie who doesn't believe her is Randall A.J. Simmons. No one is ready for Donna to bring up the down tree. Still shocked about how close they came to dying, Victor and Tabitha Matthews are making their way to town. Victor suggests a close cargo van that he often stays in as a place to stay. Since there isn't an amulet, he stresses how important it is to stay quiet. After an unexpected meeting, Christy and Mari are looking for a quiet place to work out their differences. They were once in a relationship. Mari is upset and confused as she tries to make sense of the last 6 months of pain. Christy was only 2 hours away in a town full of crazy people. Rubble says Brick might still be outside in the cold. Along with Quiet, Jim Matthews and Tom talk about what's going on. In a way that sounds like he might have a broken rib, Jim asks him if he has ever made it through a night like this before. Tom doesn't know if his yes will make a difference. Brick yells and flails because he is upset about his position after breaking through. When they try to comfort him, it doesn't work until he looks at Tom. Boyd breaks Martin's chain with a rock. According to Martin, it wouldn't help him get away very much. Before he meets everyone in town, Boyd tells him he will take him to town if he has to. Martin tells her that he found the charm, even if it doesn't make her feel better. They believe that something important is about to happen when the music box starts to play. When Boyd looks more closely at the mirror and ballerina music box, the image of an old man staring back at him scares him. Julie Matthews is getting more and more anxious as she looks for her father, who is stuck under the rubble. Kelly is worried that the place is becoming more well known. Donna stands there with her shotgun pointed at Randall as he gets into a fight with a group of strangers. Brian and a woman are hiding in the town's homemade bar as they run away from the shotgun mess. When they find some illegal alcohol, it makes them feel better. Elgin and some other newbies hide behind an old car. Ellis and Fatima try to get them to a safe place. When they see the western cowboy creature and its female counterpart walking toward them, they run into a post office to hide. He blocks their way in with a sheet while she tries to get Elgin's attention. As they walk, something that looks like a nurse watches Fatima's breakdown. Brick feels the danger for the first time when he hears loud screams. He starts to freak out again when he realizes it's coming from the monsters. Tom looks him in the eye to calm him down. Brick has blood in his cough. Randy tries to leave through the door, but Kenny stops him. He doesn't understand why they aren't helping the people who are being killed by the monsters. Donna says that having a gun won't help much. When Randall takes Kenny's gun, he holds him hostage. Kenny and Donna try to talk him out of going outside. For Kenny, she makes it clear that her life will be in danger if they have to keep him inside the diner. Randall's gun is taken away by Kenny, which calms things down. Boyd is able to get Martin's right arm free. He then asks, "Do you ever wonder if Abby was right?" When he moves his left arm. Boyd asks Martin how he knew about a talk he had with his wife in the past. Martin bends over in pain. Boyd is aware that parasites are moving under the skin on his left arm. As Martin stabs Boyd in the arm with the chain, the music box stops playing. Martin tells Boyd that they will share the same blood when they die before he breaks his arm free. As he grabs a flashlight to find the door, the scene changes right in front of his eyes. He walks up to a wall and then falls to the ground. Kenny is making tea when he sees Mari, who looks like she is upset. He gives her a cup of tea. Christy comes up to her with tears in her eyes after she leaves. He tells her to comfort Mari because she will need it in the days to come. Brian and a girl are hiding when they hear screams. She thinks it might be coyotes. He makes animal sounds and reminds her of growing up on a farm. As he looks out the window, he can tell that she is scared and tries to reassure her by telling her that they will have a great story to tell their friends and family. Someone knocks on the door, which scares them. She tells him not to open the door, but the visitor's story, which is similar to theirs, makes him want to save the day. The grimy monster starts to stalk the parking lot outside the restaurant when he sees the bus. A noise comes from behind Smiley as he looks around the bus. Both of them are scared as they look at the monster. Smiley is telling you not to pick the wrong shelter. Even though the attack isn't shown, the town is filled with the sound of people screaming and shrieking in pain. Boyd sees a dog off in the distance. As he runs through the trees, the boy in white and other animals meet him. He turns off his flashlight out of the blue and hides behind some trees and thick bushes. Victor is focused on his search for food while Tabitha questions him for the first time about the boy in white. Even though it's been a while since they last saw each other, he says they're friends. When he comes back, she starts to wonder how long the boy has been in town. In a polite way, he refuses to talk about it any further. She wants to know more about his collection of things. He said that part of it belonged to his mom. When the painful memory comes back to him, he looks for other snacks to help him calm down. Boyd and Elgin decide to join the others as three monsters get closer. Everyone else had already gone, but Elgin tells him that the bus has arrived. Since Brick's inner injuries have shown up in his body, he is having a hard time hiding how painful he is. Tom and Jim do everything they can to make him feel better. Jim tells him that the pancakes will be the best he's ever had. Jim takes his last breath as the pain gets worse and worse. Something wild is after Tom. The screams of pain can be heard throughout the town as the movie ends, even though the attack is not shown. Julie's first goal is to escape when she realizes that the monsters are going toward Jim. Christy shows up just in time to stop her from going. Donna steps in just as Julie starts to cry and falls to the floor. Boyd takes care of his wound as best he can. Victor draws the puppet from where he is in the tunnel, while Tabitha writes down her feelings in her journal. Elgin is sound asleep on a nearby cot. Boyd talks about how healthy they are. For the time being, says Victor. Boyd asks him about his sketch. Victor says that he likes to draw the horrible things he sees and then stick them on the wall. When Julie wakes up, she goes straight outside. Katie finds Tom dead in the yard. Julie calls Jim while they are cleaning up the area. His answer leads to an effort to save lives. Baekta finds a massacre that Smiley left behind. Tabitha, Victor, Elgin, and Boyd are looking forward to the new day. The luggage doors are open and the sun is shining on them. When they get back to town, Boyd finds out that he has the same bug that Martin did. At the police station, Boyd is back in familiar ground as he looks at his quickly aging picture and freshly cut arm. In the lobby, he meets his son Ellis to talk about his newest project. Boyd doesn't answer Ellis's question about Sarah Myers. They both think that the faraway tree can take them somewhere else. Ellis says that he is hiding the truth from her. Boyd wants to know what makes him so angry. Ellis tells him that Fatima had a breakdown, which makes him think she is going crazy. Boyd suggests that he become a special part of her that the horrible things going on around them can't take away. Ellis talks about the plan he and Kenny have to check out the traps in town. Boyd tries to talk him out of the plan, but Ellis seems set on gathering wildflowers for his fiancée, who loves plants. Boyd tells him to get something more real instead of the wire ring he just gave Fatima. Julia, Ethan, Tabitha, and Jim's cut are being stitched up by Christy. Christy tells him how to clean his wound and then says something about how good a patient he is. She tells Jim that his broken ribs and possibly bruised lungs are very bad when he tries to get up. When Mari comes up, Ethan tells her about Tabitha and Victor's recent trip. Donna has offered them a room at the colony house, but Tabitha doesn't want to take it. Jim says that the thought of Tabitha dying scares him. Then she tells Jim that she's going to take the kids to a diner and makes a note of the hanging wires. Newcomers are getting off the bus with their stuff, and Randall and Donna are still butting heads. She doesn't like his gun very much. Boyd steps in and introduces himself to the new people. Donna says it was just a small argument over Randall's gun, downplaying what he just saw. He tells Randall about the rule that says people living in the area can't have guns. Randy wants to know who made the rule. After telling him what his job is as sheriff, Boyd tells him he has to give up the gun if he wants to stay in town. Donna tells Matthias to take the other people to the colony house. Tabitha tries to get Julie to take a bowl of food with her. Ethan wants to see Victor but is afraid that Victor will be mad at him. She says we should give him some time to rest. Vic is mad at him, so she asks him why. He talks about his and Jade's. He asks about getting his things from the house as she goes to talk to Elizabeth Moy. Tabitha asks Elizabeth to check the storage to see if there is anything that she and her family can use. She and her family are welcome to stay at Elizabeth's house. Don tells Boyd that Mari, Christy's fiancée, is the first person from their past to come back to town. He asks what they have on hand. She says that half of their stock was lost by the storm. They are worried about how to feed the 25 extra people who just moved into town. Ellis is collecting wildflowers while Kenny sets up and reloads the town's traps. It looks like the output is good. Kenny says he is worried about Mari's sudden appearance. They are having a heated argument when music starts to play. They follow the sound to the body of a girl who had just been to the bar and missed their lost horse. He suggests that when she starts to move again, they take her back to town to be buried properly. Clara goes up to Victor, who is angry at her. He is upset that something was taken from his room. Clara finds out where the trouble is coming from. After a few seconds, he is knocking on Elizabeth's door. Jade puts down his violin to answer the door. Victor grabs his violin to show that he doesn't like what's going on. Jade says he found a picture of Victor when he was young and it has an emblem on it. Victor tells him to stay out of his room and not touch his stuff again, but he won't give him a reason. Mari looks at the small painted rock that she gave Christy before she left. Since she's been there, Christy says the rock has helped her get through some tough times. Mari seems shocked by what she heard. Christy tells her that her hair looks blonde. When Kenny bursts through the door, Mari turns away from her. The girl says her name is Kelly. She says that the creatures were pushed into the woods when Brian let them into the bar. The creatures tied her to a tree and then killed Brian while she watched. Kenny and Christy look at her cuts. As Jim lies in bed to get better, the blinking exit sign in the hallway quickly grabs his attention. As they look for the criminal, a woman walks up. She inquires about Brick, whom she recognized from the bus. He wants to know where she's going. She says she likes to gamble and goes to different racetracks to bet on different events. He asks her what's in her bag and if the bus company hired it. After telling him about the charter, she tells him that his second question hurts her feelings. He has to call for help because his broken ribs hurt so badly when he tries to ask more questions. When Mari walks into the room, she says her name is Marielle. Mari goes off to find Jim some aspirin. The girl talks about how the bus broke down in a town where her boyfriend was supposed to be staying. Jim is shocked by what he hears. The house of the colony Elgin is told by Fatima that she will be their guide. He asks about a body of water instead of responding to her comment about the first anniversary. She introduces him to the Brundles, which is one of the few things they do for fun. He says that he dreamed about the place on the bus ride. She says that other people had dreams about the Brundles before they came to town. He wants to know if the event has ever been studied. As she said before, it made some of them crazy. Now she says the results are always the same. They are trapped and don't know how to get out. In the woods, Christy, Ellis, and Kenny talk about Kelly's strange situation. While Kenny works on a plan to get her back into town before it gets dark, Ellis asks her why she seems so normal. Kelly doesn't seem to be in pain, But Christy is worried that taking out the rod will hurt her and kill her. Kenny says you should give her a gun so she can choose how to die. She tells the girl the truth about her health. Julie and Tabitha look through the used clothes that are for sale. Tabitha says it's just like any other used goods store, while Julie calls it creepy. Upon leaving with their used items, she hallucinates about two girls holding hands. Julie asks what just happened, but Tabitha refuses to reveal her hallucination. At Elizabeth's house, they sort through the used clothes. Julie continues to probe for answers, but Tabitha refuses to talk. She complains about being treated like a child before explaining her own horrific experience last night. Tabitha admits to having periodic hallucinations since Thomas died without warning. She claims Thomas provided reassurance from the other side, unlike her previous hallucination. Despite learning of her impending doom, Kelly is in good spirits and wants to contact her mother for what might be the last time. After saying there are no working phones, Christy offers to deliver her mother a note. Kelly writes a note apologizing for not reconciling after their argument over Brian. Her mother wasn't keen on her dating Brian. As the shock sets in, Kelly screams in pain when Boyd approaches. He ends her suffering by removing the rod. Christy's tough exterior is shattered when she returns to awaiting Mari. She pleads with Mari to not leave her. Ellis tells Fatima that it would be a good idea to get married sooner. Reluctantly, she agrees. Kelly is putting a puzzle together when Tabitha joins him. With the puzzle complete, she recognizes the location. In a flashback, she is in the tunnel when a rock statue crashes to the ground. The noise wakes the monsters. Back to the present, she hallucinates about the girls before rushing him inside the house. Donna accidentally knocks over a potted plant when Boyd approaches. Assessing the damage, she questions his appearance. He tells her that his experience with the creatures, while trapped in the well, reminds him of a similar experience in Iraq. He was driving when an IED exploded, killing his entire unit except for him. He says Corporal Brian Smucker Kelly's death was more difficult than the others. The young soldier died in his arms. Kenny searches through Father Cautry's things for a written scripture for his funeral. Noises coming from the cellar grab his attention. Armed, he slowly approaches the cellar to find Sarah Myers. Christy shows Bing Qian-Lu and Tian Qian-Lu around the hospital. Bing Qian is not interested in the sunny shared area. Kenny wants to help the man get used to work by offering to play chess with him in the common room. Bing Qian was surprised when Tian and Kenny moved in with someone else, but he finally got over it. Tian stresses how important it is to keep an eye on him all the time and says that he might be able to go home if he gets better. With the hope of things getting better, he gives in the end. Boyd Stevens stops Kenny on his way to get his dad's things because he wants to know what happened last night. Kenny says his dad almost let the monsters in because he thought they were his brothers. Before he asks him to be his deputy, Boyd tells him that the army taught him how important it is to have someone he can count on. In the present, Kenny quickly tells Boyd that Sarah has come back. Julie Matthews offered Tabitha tea when they went to the Lou home. Tabitha asks Jennifer to keep an eye on Ethan Matthews before she leaves to talk to Jim Matthews. It's clear that Jade doesn't like their sudden and unwanted stay. It's 3 smelly hippies, he says. She asks Ethan to go with her so she can see Victor. Kenny and Boyd go with Sarah to the church, where she is bound. Before freeing Sarah from her chains, Boyd asks Kenny to give him and Sarah some alone time. She tells him about the time she ran into the white boy. When she hears Nathan's theory that they are bothering the town, she tells him she agrees. He is curious about how other people will respond when she comes back out of the blue. She got used to her fate a long time ago. Both he and Kenny talk about how important her ties to the town are. Kenny is really annoyed about this because Father Cautry already knew and he is just now finding out. The fact that she was in the woods with him makes things even scarier. Because she helped kill his father, she haunts him and he can't get over her crimes. The idea of putting her in the box is not liked by Boyd. Seeing the bugs moving around in Boyd's arm makes him pass out. Kenny quickly checks him out. Julie sees Elgin on the porch as she attempts to calm Ethan's excitement. She quickly points out that their visit will be brief as he dashes inside. On Fatima's engagement, she offers her congratulations. Ellis wants to move the date forward, Fatima tells her. Specifically, she wants her to be a bridesmaid. Julie wholeheartedly concurs. Elgin is not adjusting well, according to Fatima. To lend him a hand, Julie offers. A knock at the door interrupts Victor's new portrait. Despite his ongoing anger about the previous invasion, he agrees to Ethan's visit. Ethan quickly expresses his regret. Victor is adamant that he was inadequate. Victor is absorbed in his sketch, as Ethan searches for clues about his mother's experience. Victor goes on to explain that having Tabitha as a mother would be wonderful after first complimenting her on how nice she is. Before quickly dismissing Ethan, he unveils his latest project. After Ethan expresses his desire to return home, Julie offers to listen to Elgin's concerns. Before making her way into town, she manages to catch up with him. Christy informs Boyd that she is sick of his continual denial after a quick evaluation. He is reminded of his extensive medical training by her. He wants to know if a spider bit you. What really gets her eye is the big cut on his arm. Maintaining a clean environment is something she emphasizes. He says he was injured by a falling branch. He remains silent when she inquires about his tremors. His declining mental faculties are a source of some anxiety for him. She reassures him that it is premature to be anxious and then asks him to be calm. Kenny is urged to take a seat and eat by Tian. She thinks he works too much and for too long. The food is for Boyd, he says, reminding her. Regarding the sheriff's work habits, she also notes the same thing. She wants to know what happened to Christy as he gets ready to go. Having confessed his knowledge of the engagement, he tells her she has every reason to be joyful. He notices the newcomer's accomplishment in emptying the bus as he leaves. The appearance of Bakta surprises Jade. Even she isn't really thrilled about his coming. After coming to the realization that things will not improve between them, he walks over to a vacant table. As I inhale a fifth of poor man's potato vodka, I sneeze and exhale heated air. Reminding him of his terrified cries, she then feels responsible for the passenger's terrible fate because she did not listen. He inquires about the downed tree. See the tree, and your life is over. Before they even landed there, he implies, their lives were taking a bad turn. Although she is not legally allowed to do so, she drove the bus nonetheless in order to treat herself. For his whole life, Jade worked to build and sell his software company for millions of dollars. He knows what it's like to be stuck here. Mari is looking in the medicine cabinet when Tabitha walks in. Mari says she knows what it looks like before she says why she is robbing it. Tabitha is shocked to learn that Jim left the hospital earlier than she thought. Tian comes over to help unload the bus with the new people. Jim quickly pulls Tabitha to the side for an important conversation before she can scold him any further. Their recently collapsed house sets a spooky mood for the talk that follows. When he looks at the house, he remembers the night he was stuck in the rubble. He does say that he spends a lot of time guessing about the wires and when Christie's ex-boyfriend will show up. He believes what she says about what she saw, but he's not sure she wasn't tricked. He suggests that he share his tech knowledge with her. As a roller coaster creator, it was his job to make impossible things look like they were possible. The more unlikely something is, the more significant it is. In the end, this makes him wonder if this town could have been purposely built to see how the people who live there would respond. When he tells her about the voice on the radio, it blows her mind even more. He's not sure what to think when she asks if anyone else heard the voice. Boyd is shocked to see a familiar face when he comes out of the bathroom. He quickly thinks that what he saw and heard was some kind of hallucination, which is proven when Father Khatri matches his sarcastic tone. He tells him that it's his move and that he doesn't have many other choices. They talk about what Sarah did that led to Mr. Liu's death. Boyd tells her she didn't kill him. Khatri thinks it was her fault that she left the door open for the animal friends. Boyd tells him that Kenny will get it. Khatri says that leaders have to make tough choices before asking him if he is qualified to be a waiter. It gets worse when he says that Boyd thinks Kenny looks like a father. Jim wants Donna to say again that they heard a voice. Before she tells him what's clear, she forces him into a hidden room. He tries to get her to believe that the voice and its threats mean that someone can see them. She doesn't say she doesn't agree with or disagree with his idea, but she does say it might be bad since they haven't helped them before. She says that the monsters are very sneaky. He isn't sure if not telling the others is a good idea. A fight over words gets her attention. Randall is really rough on a Colony House graduate. Even though the argument is over, things are getting worse between them. Kenny tells Sarah that she saved Boyd's life while she eats and then asks her about the sounds. He doesn't understand what would make her want to kill her brother. Boyd's complete trust in the girl makes him want to accept what she says even more. He says she's a good friend and that his mom treats her like a daughter. He asks her why she didn't go back to the box. She says she has done some awful things. Fatima tells Donna that Randall will change his mind, but Donna won't believe her. She says that talking in public should be slowed down. Donna walks straight toward Randall, who is lying on the couch like a king with an axe in her hand. Before swinging the axe at the wall, she tells him to get out. Before they go to town, he gets his things. Then she asks Bakta why she moved the bus from the parking lot of the diner. Baker thinks that people in the diner should have to see it while they eat. He doesn't believe that the attack the night before happened at his new house. Before she leaves, she shows him how to use the charm. The rain dancer introduces herself as Tilly as Boyd makes his way back to the church. Curious about his past exploits, she inquires. She tells him that Kenny is approaching the hospital building just as he tries to ignore her. After a while of somberly staring at the scene of Mr. Lou's murder, Sarah's involvement in his killing becomes apparent. Kenny describes the effect their secret has had on his mother. He patiently waits for her to be alone in her chamber, insisting he has never witnessed her weep. He thinks she feels responsible for his father's demise. His decision to dump Boyd in the deputy role is final. He is relentless in his pursuit of Sarah's boxing debut, disregarding Boyd's qualms. Randall is having a hard time getting used to his new home because monsters are following him around. At the door, he is met by a scary old grandmother figure. As his fear turns into anger, he makes fun of the monsters for being scary. As the critters run away, he yells bad words at them. In particular, the people that work as nurses and mechanics are very mean when they say goodbye. At the makeshift bar, Jade fights with his fears to feel in charge. While he looks at the new photo more closely, his images are becoming more and more real. Now it's not just the teasing symbols, the person who made the book is also shown in graphic detail. Boyd Stevens wakes up when he hears a lot of restless knocks. Sarah comes out of the basement just as he is about to open the door. After yelling at her, he tells her again how important it is to stay hidden. Tabitha Matthews and Jim Matthews, who are angry, push their way through the open door to find Sarah. Boyd says that they don't have enough details. It is said that they told Kenny Lou about her special skills before bringing up the fact that she also kills people. He tells them she will be good. She admits that she is only worried about the attempt she made on Ethan Matthews' life. It's the plan to ignore everything, Jim thinks. In terms of the radio mast, Boyd says that Jim changed everything. He says that people in the area come to him with questions. There's only one way for Sarah to get out of the box if she can figure out these problems. Tabitha tells Sarah that she will be killed if she goes near her family. Boyd says she'll be good, so she does. Just before they leave, she says that they no longer believe what he says. The colony house is where Boyd meets Donna. He tells Sarah to stay inside and not come out while he is with Donna. Sarah is honest about the fact that she is strong enough to handle the difficulties that lie ahead. Before he leaves, he pretty much tells her she has no choice. When Ethan Matthews hears that Sarah is coming home, he locks himself in his bedroom. Julie Matthews, her parents come back, and she is having trouble getting him to come out. That they will keep him safe is what they promise. A character in Chromonocle who is afraid of a certain cave had to talk to Jim to get over her fears. Ethan asks to go see Sarah. Mari and Christy really enjoy Tian's bread chips. A shirt that says Gerhardt Trucking is a gift from Mari to her. Christy is shocked and doesn't know how she kept it together. Mari agrees that it was selfish because her scent was on it. Christy says that the town and everything that happened there changed her. She tells her that she might not be the same girl she used to be. Mari tells her they will work things out before they kiss. Sarah sees Nathan Meyer's shirt on the back of the kitchen chair at the house she used to live in. Reggie loves the way the shirt smells when we get close. Completely stressed out. Paula tells her that neither her house nor her clothes will be given back. Sarah says she was just picking up some things for her and Nathan, like a Christmas gift. Reggie says they took most of their stuff with them when they went to the diner. He says that living with them was too creepy for him. Victor storms in without knocking. Jade tries to explain why he is so interested in the symbol. Victor offers to help Jade, but there are some conditions that she has to follow. Victor tells the man in the picture that he will tell everyone what he knows about him if the man can play the violin well enough. Victor then goes and comes back with the violin. Jade agrees, but she is surprised. When Jim and Tabitha talk about Ethan's meeting with Sarah, they give their different points of view. She did say that she was shocked that he would even think about it. He means that Ethan could deal with his problems with its help. He said that after Thomas died, the doctor told Ethan how important it was for him to take charge. Ethan hears what they are saying. She will let Ethan see Sarah as long as she is there. Jim doesn't like the idea of Ethan stepping in to help his dad. He reminds her of what she said earlier about having to face the dangers of this place. While on a task, the only way to take away an enemy's skills is to fight them directly. She tells the father to stay close as she gives the child to him. Girlfriend Donna says that Boyd made the rules. Based on what he thinks, Sarah should be in the box. Boyd says Father Khatri thought she was special. She says that even though Father Khatri has died, the people who live there are still stuck there. Not likely. Donya says the people in the area still believe in Sarah even though he hasn't shown them a yellow brick road yet. Sarah says she doesn't think it's about her special skills but about his ability to support his wife, Abby Stevens, in the past. He tells Donna that he feels bad that he didn't do more for Abby and asks for her help. She thinks about whether he wants her praise. She says his biggest mistake was going back home without any answers, just a psychopath responsible for 4 deaths. Sarah sees Kenny leave the diner as Ethan and Jim get closer. It doesn't matter that she died in the woods, Ethan says everything. He easily admits that her fake friendship made him feel let down and sad. He makes it sound like she is a monster because the way she survives is a lot like monsters. He says not to be afraid of her. She does agree. Victor takes Jade to the dump he made in town out of old cars that people no longer wanted. He agrees that the spot was clear because there were other cars there. He says he's sorry for what he did yesterday before saying that he doesn't like it when people touch his things. He gives him the violin and then asks if he knows the Twinkling Star song, which is also called Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. He says that his mom sang him the song when he was scared. He brings up the fact that his mom owned the station car. Elgin says he's sorry for getting involved in Sarah's private life. She tells him that she is sure they will fit. He asks, "Where are you staying?" She says that for now at least. He said that there is a priest living there. He hears from her that Father Kotri has died. He tells her that his grandmother was a very religious Christian. He was on his way to see his grandmother when they got to town. After Sunday morning church, they would go outside to the porch and make owls. She gets him excited about the ceramic Christmas gifts she and Nathan got at the dollar store. Even after days of breathing, his were always better than hers. According to her, all of them disappeared except for one that Nathan kept hidden. The person who is said to have it is firm about not giving it back to her. Before he asks why she wasn't at the colony house, he offers to help her get it back. She thinks it's good to forgive. What he says is wishful thinking. Do you need to ask her to forgive you? So he asks. She tells everyone that she killed Nathan. He gets up and walks away shocked when she tells him it was great to meet him. Tabitha and Julie go outside to meet Ethan and Jim as soon as they get back. Ethan says, "I am no longer afraid." Because Tabitha hugged him, Julie slapped his hand and bumped his fist as a treat. Julie asks for his help while she is in the kitchen. Jim tells Ethan how brave he is when he is talking to Tabitha. She is really interested in the rock puzzle, but this time it doesn't make her believe crazy things. Tian Chen Lu informs Sarah that she took from her after everything she done for her. She accuses Sarah of filling her with hate. After handing her the box filled with her and Nathan's possessions, she instructs her to never come back to the diner. Upon leaving, Sarah sees an irate Kenny. He berates her before knocking the package out of her hands. He picks up a porcelain snowman ornament and smashes it against a wall. He threatens to drag her to the box if she returns to the diner, regardless of what Boyd says. Elgin helps gather her possessions. Mari is putting the final touches on Christie's new hairstyle. Christie inspects her new haircut before giving Mari a kiss. Tilly, Deborah Grover, offers Christie a bottle of liquid morphine. Christie worries what she was doing with the drug. Tilly predicts her illness will develop until she can no longer self-administer the medication. Christie promises her that she will take care of it. Tilly reports there is a lot of chitter-chatter surrounding Sarah's homecoming. Upset, Christie goes away but Mari gets her to talk about it. She admits to being unhappy with Sarah for murdering Nathan with a stolen scalpel. Mari attempts to console her but she feels responsible. Victor tells Jade that the guy who authored the notebook is Christopher, whose car is at the junkyard. He claims Christopher could put a grin on your face at the worst moments but suddenly all changed. Jade admits to being afraid by his escalating hallucinations before proposing the notebook may contain the answers. He claims Christopher was definitely fascinated with him. Victor escapes to the station wagon where he tells how Christopher grew captivated with the emblem. It finally led to the death of majority of the town's population. Christopher no longer cared about making people laugh. One night his mother told him to locate a new hiding location. The next morning, everyone was dead. Tabitha takes the rock puzzle back to where she and Victor fled the town's underground maze. Fully constructed, she declares her arrival. Several hideous youngsters gradually marched at her while yelling "Ang Kui." With each stride, the chanting gets more fast. They pull her to the round when she finds it is a vivid delusion. When Jade approaches, he points out her bloodied nose. Randall keeps working on the bus to make it more comfortable. Jim informs Boyd that he doesn't agree with his decision about Sarah but understands. He argues she is just a damaged girl, not a killer, before expressing his hypothesis about the voice on the radio. He believes the government, dating back to World War II, tested with comparable limitations. Boyd exits without delivering an answer. Boyd gets another parasite infection. The parasites are swimming inside the skin of his right forearm. Christie appreciates her present as Mari pulls a syringe full of liquid morphine from the hospital medical cabinet. She ingests the liquid. The episode wins off with Tian finding Boyd, who says he needs to talk to her. In episode 6, Boyd Stevens tries to explain his actions to Sarah Myers. He tells Tian Chen Lu that he can't understand why she took things from her and Kenny Lu. He tells her that he understands how hard it is to lose a loved one in that place. He promises to do everything he can to get them back to where they live. Kenny says what he doesn't like. Hyun tells him off in Cantonese, which is their mother tongue. Before leaving, Boyd admits that he is responsible for his actions. Boyd is shocked to find that the chairs are no longer there. During his conversation with Martin, he got the music box, which plays its tune from a nearby table. They dance with an expert dancer until all of a sudden, worms come out of her mouth. When he hits the ground, he realizes that he is still inside the diner. He quickly gets help from Kenny and Tian, who help him sit down and take care of the cut on his head. She suggests that Christy judge him. Boyd gets ready to leave, but Kenny holds Boyd's arm tightly and leads him out of the building. Donna and Ellis Stevens write down how little food the town has. The already bad situation gets even worse right away when Dale brings along too many potatoes. He thinks Donna will go get some and bring it back to him. Fatima ignores Ellis's offer to help and grabs a basket to carry it to the car. Dale wants to know how they are doing. Donna reassures them that they will be safe as long as they continue to use less before telling them that she has decided to stay at Lou's house tonight. She tells Fatima and Ellis that they are in charge of keeping the colony house safe. That's why Fatima doesn't know what to say when the others ask if there is food available. Donna says that they will be better off if they don't know much about the situation. Christy looks through Mari's suitcase for an ornament while she admires her new outfit. Instead, she finds a welcome box from the Lavender Palm Rehabilitation and Treatment Center. Mari doesn't understand why she would mess with her things. Christy remembers that she said she was going to see her aunt when she threw away the package on the table. Mari says that she didn't tell her because she didn't want to make her feel bad. It's clear to Christy that the setback is related to her quick departure. Mari admits that the behavior started a few months ago before she admits that she started abusing drugs again. Christy gets the bottles out of the cabinet with medical supplies. Mari implores her to stop, saying that the present moment is a good time to stop. Christy asks her if she has taken any morphine from their stock. Mari says the word little bit before going for a walk. Christy tells her that it's almost time for bed. Kenny takes Boyd with him to the place where he met Martin. Seeing the leaves changing, he does something. Kenny says he is more stable now that they are back in town. Boyd says he can feel pain even when it's not there, even though he is in it. In response, Kenny asks him to explain. Boyd admits that he is having trouble understanding, but he knows it is because of a parasite infection. Worms move under his skin when the music box starts to play. Without being able to understand the music, Kenny goes with him to a cave in the ground, which is where Jade had her first dream. As soon as Boyd gets to the music box, a dancer smoothly comes out of its room. As he comes back to the real world, he realizes that Kenny did not see anything. Ellis shows up while Fatima sets up the makeshift alarm system next to the back door. He wants to know how they are doing. Kenny waits calmly while Christy speaks with Boyd. By taking off his shirt, he shows off the scar on his arm. He talks about how he met Martin and how Martin gave him something. He said that Martin would have died without the bugs, so he gave them to Martin on purpose. He asks her if she can imagine going through a condition that is so bad that it makes her think about dying, but she can't do anything about it because it hurts so much. According to him, she needs to promise to end it when it gets too much. Kenny and Christy are talking, but they aren't sure about Boyd's health. Bing Qian-lu, Kenny's father, had dementia and said some strange things, according to Kenny. She says it's too early to say for sure, but in its later stages, Parkinson's disease can cause dementia. Donna explains to Ethan Matthews what home canning and long-term food stores are. The chat has Julie Matthews in it. Jim Matthews wants to know if these are the last rules. In her message, Donna tells him that the recent planting of crops went well. He wants to know why the others aren't talking to each other. She warns him that it would make him feel even more terrified than he already is. He doesn't agree with her choice to hide the truth. It's her promise to him that it's the best she can do. Tabitha Matthews cuts him off as he starts to talk about his plot theory. Ethan wants to know what the comment about the town's lack of food is supposed to mean. Boyd is in a lot of pain as the music box starts to play and the dancer's outline can be seen through the curtain. He notices that there is nothing strange or unexpected as he pulls back the curtain. When the dancer grabs him from behind, she pushes him hard onto the bed and starts to choke him. When Mari arrives, he quickly calms down again, but not before quickly getting his gun. Ellis keeps reminding Fatima that things are not at all what she says they are every time she says that. He tells Boyd secret information as he closes the door. From what she said, they will soon be married. She warns that when Sarah comes back, everyone is in danger. He tries to understand Boyd's choice until he agrees with her. Elgin and Dale get into a fight over words while they are making dinner. Dale says that he ate food that was in the cupboard. Elgin tells them that he is adding food from his pack to their supplies. Fatima and Ellis step in when Dale suddenly says that the storm has ruined all of their food. He warns that things will get worse if the refugees keep stockpiling. Ellis says Dale often states things about the food supply that aren't true. Before making a snarky comment about how useful the magic tower is for helping them get back, Dale tries to explain his point of view. According to Dale, the newcomers should be kicked out of town starting with Elgin. While getting into a small fight, Ellis gets stabbed in the side by accident with a knife. Before Dale can say sorry, Fatima tells him to leave the room right away. To get him to the couch, Clara, Fatima, and Bake to help him up. Clara gets some clothes while putting pressure on his wound. Boyd's dreams have now taken the form of Father Khatri, who says that spots can't be removed. Boyd seems to be saying that everyone will end up the same way he and Bing Qian did. He knows that he is going to die soon. Father Khatri talks about how proud he is of himself and admits that he would have refused to ask for help in the past. He warns her that everyone thinks he is crazy. Boyd asks him what's on his mind. Father Khatri knows that he is talking to a thought project of his own. Boyd says that Kenny's help makes him call him the worst priest he has ever met. He tells him to get out of the way. Kenny shuts the door to the upstairs to get away from the other people in the group. Boyd admits that the things that happened in the woods made him feel very scared. Although Ellis needs a ride to the hospital, Donna has a truck. He thinks of the stopped car when Fatima speaks to him. Before trying to comfort her, he warns her that the situation is too dangerous and promises that he will be safe until dawn. As soon as they get to the door, they are told that there is a creature close. Elgin opens the car door and takes it off. The librarian asks the person where they are going, and an older being joins her. As he quickly gets into the car, he sees that the keys are on top of the sun visor. With the help of a more grown-up being, Elgin easily gets to the van and jumps inside. He only has trouble when he can't find the keys. They are found hidden under the sun visor with a sense of urgency and a lot of trouble. He lowers it and the keys fall to the floor. He quickly picks them up just in time and starts the van. When they get to the door, Fatima is helping Ellis get to the van. They drive to the hospital with everyone inside the car. Mari tells Christy that she is going to stay at the colony house when she hears Fatima's frantic beating. When Ellis is moved to a bed, he complains of pain because he is having trouble breathing. While Christy is trying to relieve the pressure on Ellis' chest area, Kenny and Boyd walk up to her. Because she keeps saving Ellis from harm, she worries about Mari's health. Boyd and Fatima go away while Christy, Kenny, and Mari take care of Ellis. Ellis' breathing goes back to normal when the pressure is taken off. Boyd calms down Fatima while Christy gives them the most up-to-date information on Ellis' health. In case he doesn't get a blood transfer, she warns him that his organs will stop working. They both have blood type O negative. Boyd is worried about the blood transfer, and Fatima goes to see Ellis. He talks about his worry that Ellis will get the bug. Fatima tells him that he will die if he doesn't get his blood. In answer to Boyd's next attack, Kenny points his gun at him. Mari and Christy both admit that they saw the bug. Kenny suggests that he give him the bug. Boyd gets the animal's attention by holding a pocket knife out and offering them fresh blood. The first one to be drawn in is the smiley-faced creature, which appears from the nearby bush with a creepy smile on its face. Right now, the cowboy monster and a female monster are very close to each other. Boyd cuts his palm with a knife before cutting the smiley creature's throat. He says the well-known line "his blood is the same as the creature's blood" over and over again. The smiley-faced creature talks about how much he enjoys this game when he is very upset. With a piercing scream, his face turned into a dried-out mess. Boyd gives Ellis his permission to give blood when he gets to the hospital. Donna and Ethan are done putting the food in cans to keep it fresh. Both of them agree that it wasn't too bad. While looking up, he wonders what might happen if the house falls down. Her promise to him is that it won't happen until his parents dig another big hole in the floor, which she knows they probably won't do. Even though he admits his fear, he keeps saying that he is not afraid. She tells him that she feels the same amount of fear as he does and then suggests that fear might be good. They give each other a loving hug. Christy takes out the tube and puts a wrap on Boyd's arm when the transfer is over. He ignores her advice and leaves. Ellis says that he can breathe better now. As she works to improve her looks, he asks her about Fatima's anger toward him. Fatima gives him a kiss before leaving the room, and that's when her feelings get the best of her and she starts to cry. After that, she asks Christy if she can get a pregnancy test. As Kenny walks up to the front door of the hospital, Boyd looks out into the darkness of the night. He feels terrible about ignoring Boyd's advice and doesn't wait to let everyone know how unhappy he is. Boyd is quick to forget, stressing that their success is the only thing that matters. The two people are both focused on the dry mound in the middle of the hospital parking lot. When asked, Boyd says that the object has stayed still and that the truth about whether it is dead or not will be found in due time. Then Christy confirms Fatima's thoughts that she is pregnant. She tells her everything will be okay after asking Ellis Stephen if he knew about the pregnancy. Kenny Lou tells them that the sun is coming up soon. Before Christy can ask her more questions, Fatima runs away. Boyd, Stevens, Kenny, and Mari are amazed by the smiley face creature that doesn't move. As everyone comes around, Christy talks about how important it is that the thing died. Is there something that should be done with the creature's body? Kenny suggests setting it on fire, and then Christy and Boyd add their thoughts. He tells them that opening the thing up could be dangerous. Mari goes to get a sheet, and Christy gathers twigs to use as a couch. Ellis, who is hurt, reluctantly agrees to go back to the colony house when his father tells him to. Christy is told by Fatima that she is going with Ellis. Boyd talks to Elgin about how he's feeling. As they bring the thing inside, Kenny keeps warning them. At Colony House, Donna and a sad Dale talk before things get more serious. He agrees with Ellis that there isn't enough food for everyone who just came. She says not to try to get other people to make tough choices. She locks the door, gives the guard the key, and tells everyone not to come or go. Bekta wants to know what Donna is going to do about Dale. When Matthias tells her that Ellis and Fatima are back, Donna tells her that she knows what's going on. Before she leaves, she gives Bekta some support to make sure Ellis is okay. Ethan Matthews won't give up, so Tian Chen Lai and Tabitha Matthews have to deal with him. Right away, he moves the subject to Victor. When Julie Matthews offers to take Jim to see Victor, Jim says it's not a good idea. Jim tells them not to go near the colony house. Tabitha tells them to see Victor. Out of hearing, Jim tells them how important it is to stick together. She tells him about how she took Ethan to see Sarah Myers and then asks him if his plan is to lock them in the basement. She tells them that if they don't listen, they might sneak out of the house. He says he doesn't want his 9-year-old to be around a crazy person who doesn't understand emotions. She says he kept her and Julie alive. Jim and Tabitha talk about his plot idea. She goes inside with Julie and Ethan to eat breakfast. As he tries to calm down, he sees a UAV flying above and Randall standing on the Grand Rapids runner's roof with a command. The smiley face creature is about to be opened by Boyd, Christy, Kenny, and Mari. Christy thinks that a saw is what is needed to cut through the chest. Boyd asks Tian if he has anything that can be used for the process. Kenny tells them the harsh truth about what they are going through. Mari goes to the next room to throw up while they talk about the bug. Mari is going through detox, Christy tells them. Boyd offers to help, so she tells him to get a saw and gloves. Kenny offers to do the job. Randall quickly tells Jim he's sorry for the flyby. Jim is quick to tell him how good he is at flying. Randall says that his nephew gave him the expensive drone as a gift. He helped when their house fell down, and Jim thanks him for it. Randall thinks that he and Tabitha killed the 2 people who died when the building fell down. Jim asks him if throwing it at him makes him feel good. Randall tells him to shut up before recognizing his hard work. Before asking if he can walk with him, Jim asks what the drone can do. Randall says that his actions are like a pedophile trying to get a kid to come with them to the park without them knowing. Jim says that the drone could help them get back home. Victor is back to measuring the line of trees when Ethan comes up behind him. Ethan wants to know how big it is. Victor asks him why he's there and then tries to get rid of him. He says he is only protecting Ethan when he knows Ethan is hurt. Ethan asks them why they're friends if they can't act like friends. Vic pulls out the almost dry pen as he walks away. He finally says that he can help get the numbers. Before she goes back to the smiley face creature, Christy gives Mari a blanket and a glass of water. Boyd is putting bandages on his cut hand when she offers to help. They talk briefly about Mari's drug use. Both of them say they are scared about what they are going to do to the smiley face creature. Jade is engaged in work when Tabitha knocks on the door. Having confirmed that there is no requirement for knocking, he proudly brags about his ability to convert the town's low-quality liquid waste into something valuable. She inquires about his lack of astonishment upon encountering them in the forest a few days prior. He acknowledges preferring her when she refrains from shouting at him. She implores him to be earnest. According to him, Jim discovered him in a comparable condition. Notwithstanding his unwillingness to disclose to Jim, he elucidates his encounter with the Civil War veteran. He consents to divulge further information if she offers her aid. Jim and Randall are present at the location where the RV accident occurred. Slowly progressing on the primary thoroughfare, Randall appears utterly perplexed by the lack of initiative to address the voice Jim encountered on the radio. His awareness of Jim's conspiracy theory notion becomes evident when he inquires about the behavioral responses of individuals when confronted with their respective circumstances. Jim highlights the fact that confidential tests have been officially disclosed. He ponders the nature of the confidential experiments. Randall elucidates his intention to enhance the drone by equipping it with a compact, umbrella-shaped device, enabling it to traverse over the canopies of trees. Jim assures to attend to the radio. Nonetheless, Randall harbors skepticism. Randall acknowledges that the idea is becoming comprehensible, but he points out that there is one crucial aspect that has to be addressed before providing more explanation. Julie bids farewell to Fatima and Ellis, as Donna presents them with a platter of food. Ellis brings to mind the food storage. She reassures him that the situation is just temporary before expressing remorse for not being there when Dale experienced a breakdown. According to him, she was completely unaware of the impending event. Julie converses with Elgin before departing to collect Ethan. Kenny, Boyd, and Christy have assembled around the thing in the basement. Performing a surgical cut in the chest elicits a neural response. Kenny reiterates his previous apprehensions over doing surgery on an unfamiliar critter before departing. She pursues him, abandoning Boyd in the company of the beast. Kenny conveys his worries about the parasite. She underlines the need of keeping things secret. Whatever Boyd poisoned it with is like poison. If they can remove it and reuse it, they might have something to fight back with. He cautions it is exceedingly risky. She admits to needing him there with her. He proclaims his love for her before pretending to be delighted with her and Mari's reconciliation. Mari walks to the operating room to discover the thing gone. Frantic, she seeks for Christy when encountering Boyd. He asks how she is feeling. She notifies him about the missing thing that is standing at the end of the passageway. He instructs her to flee, but she freezes. He shoots several rounds into the beast. She is attracted by the music box. As it jumps at her, she is taken from her wet, gasping nightmare. Fatima and Donna discuss the failed plants. She admits to being pregnant. Stunned, Donna embraces her. Fatima says Ellis doesn't know yet. Donna wonders whether he is the father. Fatima tells her that he is before claiming to have been warned she would never become pregnant. She shares fears about the town insulting her like the animals. Laughing, Donna reminds her of all the unpleasant things the place has brought them. She adds the town also gave her Ellis and a baby. Putting the finishing touches on his new distillation endeavor, Jade offers Tabitha a rapid overview of his previous hallucinations. He shows her the photo of young Victor. She wonders whether his visions usually depict something different. He says except for the emblem. She informs him that her visions never vary, they are always ghostly youngsters. She asks if the town is punishing her for what happened to Thomas. He tells her that it isn't. As she prepares to depart, she wonders whether the emblem in the diary is what he has been talking out. He says yes. She claims to have seen the same symbol on the tunnel walls. Victor and Ethan collect measurements. He points out the changing leaves. Ethan says it happens annually. Victor says it is the first for the town, which could be a sign of something more sinister. With Boyd's help, Christy carefully pulls out the creature's chest. When they see that the creature doesn't have any blood and its parts have died, their shock is obvious. Feeling down because they can't find a clear answer to their problem, Christy's study of the creature's insides takes a dramatic turn when she cuts the gallbladder, letting out a stream of neon yellow-orange fluid. Boyd quickly tells Kenny to get a bottle and a dropper to collect this strange liquid. At the same time, Elgin tells Julie the scary news that Boyd met the mysterious smiley face creature. Julie is confused by Elgin's sad mood and asks him what's wrong. Elgin admits that he is feeling uneasy because of a scary dream that reminds him of an important detail he has forgotten. Julie, always thinking of the practical side of things, suggests taking a relaxing bath, comparing it to standing next to the calm breadth of the ocean. In another part of the story, Fatima goes to see Ellis, who is having a hard time finding peace while he is getting better. As they reassure each other that they are safe, Fatima hints at something she needs to tell him. Boyd and Kenny get together again in the lobby. Boyd shows the animals the vial of bile he has gathered and talks about how it could be used as a weapon against them. Kenny is interested and suggests that they talk about it later, implying that Boyd might get his badge back. While this is going on, Christy tells Mari about their latest, strange findings. The scene changes to Elgin, who does what Julie suggests and takes a bath to feel better. But his attempt to relax is cut short when a music box starts playing, and out of the blue, an old lady forces his head underwater, changing his moment of peace into a dangerous fight for life. In the next episode, Kenny Lu sets the table while Tian Chen Lu finishes making the dinner. At the same time, the phone rings. When he picks up the phone, he hears a sound that is just random noise. In the distance, you can hear a message that says, "They touch, they break, they steal. Every person doesn't have enough freedom. They are coming up behind you in a group of 3, unless you stop the melody," the sentence goes on. He's so upset that it's hard for him to get the point across to Tian. The cicada's kettle makes a buzzing sound when the music box plays a tune. A bug jumps out of the box and lands on his arm. When she pushes him, he accidentally moves it. Right after that, he wakes up again. The person sees the woman leave the room as he feels a burn on his arm. This happens at the same time that a cicada appears in his dream. Randall and Jim Matthews carry out Jim's plan for Randall's robotic flying vehicle. Randall is getting ready to launch the UAV when he starts to wonder what the point of this is. Jim says that he learned new things by figuring out when people, like Sarah Meyer, hit their limit. Russell Randall wants to know if Sarah tried to hurt Ethan Matthews. Jim is set on fighting back against any efforts by the government to change who he really is. The trees are too high for the drone to fly above. After a short chat when Randall first gets to town, he asks about the people who are there. Jim talks about Boyd Stevens, Donna, and Father Cautry, who has died. He explains the events that led to Father Cautry's death. Randall has questions about the truth of any of the deaths. Jim agrees that the bodies of Brick and Tom were not fully examined to come to a final decision. He learns from Jim that Sarah killed her brother Nathan Myers. According to him, she either did it because she was forced to or because she wanted to show off. Boyd hides the boat key at the police station while Sarah walks in out of the blue to say she wants to go deeper into the forest. He said that there might be woods in that area, and she agrees with him. He said that they went on a long trip and finally came back to the town. She wants to know if they are ready to give up. He tells her that people depend on him and then reminds her that no one wants her to be there. He gives her a job to keep her attention. Jade and Tabitha Matthews go back to the place where they and Victor got out of the hole in the woods. She says she saw the sign in the cave, but she doesn't want to go back. He is interested in whether the animals use it as a place to sleep. Because she confirmed it, he thinks it has something to do with the chaos theory. He remembers that Victor lied to him on purpose about the sign. Julie Matthews greets Victor as she opens the door. While awaiting Ethan's arrival, she expresses gratitude to him for his assistance at the Colony House. Ethan apprises Victor of their intention to assist Tian at the diner. Victor presents him with a bag and the coat he worn throughout his childhood. He anticipates the imminent arrival of chilly weather. Ethan attempts to provide him with a self-portrait, but he promptly declines. He proposes that the portrait may prove beneficial in the event of any unfortunate circumstances befalling him. Victor insists on refraining from discussing such matters. Ethan issues a threat to give back the coat unless the recipient agrees to accept his sketch. Victor grudgingly retains it. Boyd recommends that Ellis go to bed. Els affirms his well-being. Christie reports that he is recovering satisfactorily. Boyd doubts his emotional state as Donna forcibly removes him. He inquires whether she would discover activities to occupy Sarah's time. Taken aback, she emphasizes to him the prioritization of their obligations, which surpass the significance of entertaining Sarah. Dale, an individual exhibiting signs of insanity, is now confined to an upper-level bedroom. She notifies him about Elgin's recent incident of nearly drowning last night. He inquires of Elgin whether he would be interested in discussing his encounter. Elgin alleges that he was forcefully submerged in the water. Upon awakening, he has pulmonary aspiration. Boyd inquires whether he disclosed the events at the hospital to anybody. Elgin refuses to endorse the silver bullet approach of injecting the animals with the contaminated fluid without further consideration. Ethan elucidates the concept of the internet to Victor, but Tian interrupts their conversation and takes Victor away. Julie inquires of Ethan whether he intends to remove Victor's malodorous coat. Ethan acknowledges his fondness for it before discovering a mysterious entity, which he then inquires Victor about. During a flashback, Miranda presents her son, a young Victor, with a figurine. She instructs him to exhibit courage. In the current moment, Jade seizes Victor by the neck, reminding him of his failure to fulfill his part of the agreement to play the desired music. Julie prevents Victor from escaping with his bag and lunchbox. Tabitha and Jade rendezvous with Victor. He inquires about the reason for Victor's unwillingness to assist, considering that it would enable them to return home. Victor flees during their altercation. Jim and Randall entered abruptly to find Sarah in possession of the damaged Christmas figurine. Jim inquires about the simultaneous arrival of both she and Nathan in town. She asserts that they were en route to Boston. Jim states that they are now addressing the development of arrival patterns. She informs them that she and Nathan left Pennsylvania. Jim recalls to her the events that occurred in the barn. Upon Donna's arrival with a basket of goods for Sarah to mend, Randall proposes the notion that Nathan's death was orchestrated. He queries the timing of her arrival prior to accusing her of harboring a thirst for power. Sarah informs her that Jim and Randall had been wondering about Nathan's demise. Randall cautions that the truth will remain elusive if Jim persists in being too kind and amiable. Jim implies that Sarah's look conveyed sufficient information, but Donna is not contributing to the situation. He suggests observing from afar before instructing him to rejoin the vehicle without acknowledging any incident. Later, they will convene at the recreational vehicle, RV, to observe and oversee the creatures in their natural environment. Jim being informed about Tabitha's visit to the colony house and the incident with Victor. He notifies Julie of his intention to spend the night in the recreational vehicle. He promises her that he will get a talisman. As he leaves the diner, he comes upon Donna, who starts asking intrusive questions. He asserts his sole pursuit is to find solutions. She advises him that engaging in harassment towards Sarah over Nathan will not be beneficial. She queries his intense fascination with the voice on the radio, cautioning that implanting a conspiracy theory in Randall's mind may pose a significant risk. According to him, Randall lacks awareness of the voice. Randall is observed engaging in espionage from the bus. While Victor is lost in thought, his mother tells him to be brave and stay in the cellar till morning. She brings her focus to his pictures and gives him a figurine as a present. Now that we're back in the present, Tabitha thanks him for Ethan's coat. She realizes she has a vague memory of the figurine as she grasps it. Why did he completely avoid bringing up the symbol in the tunnel? She wants to know. Those who come here looking for solutions, he says, should never return. He reassures her that there is no way to leave that place when she says it's the only way to get home. Despite his mother's firm belief that they were going home, the author reveals that her hopes were dashed. His images, he tells her, may reveal the long-forgotten details. She makes you think of the pictures in the house while it was falling. To save the lives of others, he admits, he had to hide his pictures. The burn on Boyd's arm is explained to him by Kenny. As far as Boyd is concerned, Elgin has suggested turning the monster's body fluids into silver bullets to kill them. There is no longer any concealment of Mari's solitude. Christy uses deep breathing techniques to calm her down. When Boyd and Kenny arrive at the hospital, Mari tells her that they must go immediately. Unusual noises startle them as they near the boiler room. Concerning Mari's whereabouts in the boiler room, Kenny presses the issue. Is it of significance? She asks. If anything climbs the stairs, Boyd says they should run. They continue on their way until Kenny and he hear what sounds like someone hustling behind the door. Boyd, armed to the teeth, pried open the door and peered under the sheet where the creature had been lying. A swarm of cicadas, similar to the ones in Kenny's nightmare, has descended upon the area. They return to the lobby. Before explaining his dream, Kenny asks him to remember his earlier comment on the need of preserving the body. Elgin vividly recalls being submerged in water in a dream and then waking up with water in his lungs, which Christy recalls. Kenny shows off the burn scar on his arm. Donna is adamant about knowing what's going on right now. Victor walks with Tabitha to the station wagon that belongs to his family. Show bravery, she tells him. He claims that while confining him to the root cellar, his mother had made a similar comment. Boyd and Donna go to the boiler room's entrance and hear nothing out of the ordinary. According to her, he hid information from her until she found out about it. His expression of regret is accompanied by a promise to never do it again. She wants to know more about the creature's internal fluids. He continues by saying it's worth a shot after providing a brief explanation. When they open the door, they don't see any cicadas. Their dispersion is her suggestion. They have locked the door, he tells her. The cremation of the beast's body parts is her solemn demand. The monster is loaded into a wagon by Kenny and Body. She argues that, to keep the smoke from being seen by anybody, it must be burned at a significant distance from the town. Before promising to go to the police station with Sarah, Boyd suggests they switch up their sleeping schedules. He warns that things are likely to heat up with Mari's departure. Wanting to get away from Sarah, Christy asks Donna if Marie and her may stay at the colony house. I agree with Donna. The preparation of the beast's corpse for burning is something that Randall watches. Tabitha tries to open Christopher's car trunk, but Victor stops her. He opens the hatch and a flashback from his boyhood comes flooding back. He and his mother were playing in the cellar. He quickly gets back to work, searching the drawings until he finds one that shows his sister Eloise and himself. Eloise begs her mother not to leave, and his mother tells him to find her. He claims he doesn't own the drawings, but a flashback reveals that their mother gave Eloise the order to make them. Instead of Victor, it appears that Eloise is the artist. Their mother promises that they will return home first thing in the morning. Getting back to the present, it doesn't matter how much Tabitha tries to console him. Through a flashback, we observe Eloise's decision to follow their mother instead of staying in the cellar. Before acknowledging their mutual involvement, Randall apologizes to Donna. A civil and courteous conversation with her is what he seeks. While Kenny makes an improvised torch, Boyd uses gasoline to submerge the beast. Kenny sets the beast ablaze. Kenny says, "I've grown so used to feeling scared that it's now starting to feel ordinary as the monster is consumed by flames." The sketches are lying all over the floor. Tabitha listens as Victor describes what happened in the cellar last night. She rushes to find out more after getting a glimpse of a rough sketch of a building. He tells her that the night before the town disaster, Eloise had claimed that her mother had gone to the spot. It is said that their mother went to the place in an effort to free the children held in the tower. Ethan and Julie have received praise from Tian. She tells them to return the next day. A loud buzzing noise and a desperate cry for help come from a nearby house as Boyd and Kenny go out for a stroll around town when they are frightened. Shortly after, a person soaked in blood and frantically requesting help stepped out of the main door. Jim hears Donna's voice and spots a vehicle on his way to meet Randall with its hatch open. She was bound to a tree, but he freed her by following her cries. Suddenly, Randall swats a blade at a nearby tree. Jim wants to know what he's up to right now. He is apprised of the change in his tactics by Randall. Reggie leads Boyd Stevens and Kenny Lou to the body of Paula. Before this, Sarah and Nathan lived in the house. When she screamed, Reggie said he was downstairs. He said that when he walked in, she was in the middle of a bad dream. They touch, break, and steal, she told them over and over. No one is free around here. He has heard the same thing in his dreams too. Boyd comes out of the house to a crowd of people and the sharp buzzing of cicadas. Someone named Ethan Matthews wants to know if you're okay. After letting him know that everything is fine, he sends him home and asks Julie Matthews to stay with him. After seeing Reggie's bloody fall from the house, Tian Chen Lu tempts Ethan with the promise of food. Boyd looks into it to let the people in the area know about the dangers of sleeping. Julie wants to know why attacks are happening during the day. He talks more about the new threat. After telling him that Jim Matthews plans to spend the night in the RV, she leaves. Donna is being held back by Randall. When she gets out of jail, she tells him she plans to kill him. He says she was talking to a strange being at the clinic. He says she scared the people in the area by hiring the monsters. He learns from her about how Boyd killed the smiley face creature. Even though Jim is shocked by what Randall is doing with Donna, he says it was his idea. Randall tries to stop Jim from setting her free, but she is not guilty. When Randall waves his knife, Boyd shoots into the air. Boyd holds Randall at gunpoint and tells him to drop the knife. Jim then gets the knife and uses it to free Donna. It's getting dark when they get in the van and find that Randall has buried the keys in the bush. Tabitha Matthews tries to get Julie to come inside. When Jade and Victor talk about how dangerous it is to sleep during the day, Julie takes care of Jim's overnight stay in the RV. Julie and Ethan are worried about Jim's RV stay, so Tabitha is busy. She tells them that Boyd would protect Jim if he had to. After Kenny goes, Sarah tells him she appreciates him staying with her. He tells her it's not her fault he doesn't want to be there. She says things are different now that she and Boyd have been into the woods. According to Boyd, she says that the city is trying to make them sad. Kenny stops her and asks what's going on. She talks about how Nathan's fear of cicadas was made clear to her while they were camping. She says more about her idea that the forest holds and shapes the darkest thoughts of the dead. Ellis and Fatima hear what Reggie says about what happened before Paula died. Reggie says that something broke her. Because Dana isn't there, everyone is scared about her. Christy makes things worse until Fatima comes in and suggests they work together. Mari should have her own room, says Christy. Just as they were about to figure out the plan, Boyd stopped them without warning, which bothers Randall. Jim tells him that now is not the right time to talk about it. Randall finally accepts that his family is in bad shape after trying to hurt them. Boyd puts handcuffs on as an intervention. Boyd keeps yelling at Randall and threatens to tie him to a tree if he doesn't stop. Hot-wiring the car to get it going is an option that is being thought about. Ellis asks Christy about Mari's health while helping her get groceries at the colony house. He learns from her that Mari's escape is even tougher than before. His fear is that Fatima isn't getting enough rest. At 7 weeks along, she doesn't think it's time to be worried. He is worried about the baby's future and thinks that it might turn out to be scary. She laughs as she talks about medical school and the magic ball of fire idea. Tabitha and Jade examine the artwork that Eloise created. He finds it puzzling that Victor seemed to have disregarded his sister. As he gazes at the artwork depicting 2 Civil War soldiers, he inquires as to its inspiration. She implies that Eloise drew inspiration for them from her mother's tales and then moved on to a tower sketch. Everyone in town apparently killed that night, and Miranda went there. The accuser asserts that Victor was informed by Eloise that Miranda rushed to the tower in an effort to save the kids. In an effort to get Ethan to play a game, Julie suggests a board game. When asked whether Jim will die, he says yes. They will be okay, she tells him. Chromonocle is a narrative she brought up, and he says it's dumb. He storms out of the room after asking whether her narrative concluded like she wanted it to. After Elgin's suggestion, Boyd begins producing silver bullets. According to Donna, Randall ought to give it a go. They are being pursued by a swarm of monsters. Randall gladly accepts her challenge as he fills the cylinder with silver bullets. She begs him to give it to her. As soon as the CB radio starts playing music, the animals stop a short distance away from the RV. Mari yells out, "Get away from me," in a panic, but Christy quickly arrives to soothe her. Mari states that she was joined by an object in the room. Christy reassures her that she is experiencing nothing more than withdrawal hallucinations. In her hysterical, out-of-control tantrum, Mari assaults her and holds her responsible for everything. As soon as Christy gets her to relax, she keeps going. Sarah attempts to elicit a response from Kenny by bringing up a memory of Tian expressing her gratitude for being able to spend time with her family. As for what transpired to his father, she expresses her regrets. She remarks that it must be tough for them to notice her. She asserts that she requested to go back to the forest. She is informed by him that he is not feeling sorry for her. She would have been in the box by now, he says, if he had his way. He is adamant that she end her discussion of his father. She reminds him of all the things the community took away for her. He proposes she finish it with Boyd's spare gun before leaving her alone. When Reggie rings the neighborhood bell, he hopes to wake everyone up. His main point is that an amulet can't protect you from all dangers. Reggie hits Ellis hard as he tries to help. Elgin steps in to help and holds Reggie down. Fatima tries to make him feel better. Reggie says that the town is trying to kill them all. Elgin grabs him and takes him upstairs. It's Jim's job to watch the animals that aren't moving while Boyd looks for the music. He says the music always means bad things are going to happen. You can hear a thump 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 from under the RV after the song is over. As soon as the lights go out, Randall grabs a hammer. He breaks a window and then jumps out. Boyd then breaks a window, which lets Donna and Jim get away. Randall leaves with the creatures in his arms. This is how Jim and Donna get to the car. Things don't seem to be getting better with Boyd's rounds. A woman calls his name. He sees Abby Stevens as he turns around. She calls out to him. Abby just goes away. He gets out of the RV and tries to shoot a monster, but the bullet misses. While Donna, Jim, and Boyd drive out of town in the van, cicadas swarm over Randall and bother him. Sarah has a gun and bullets with her when Kenny finds her. "Please put it away," he asks. She isn't sure if everyone wanted her to die. Instead of the box, she says to use the gun. She lifts the loaded gun to shoot him while the barrel is pressed against her head. As expected, the first shot doesn't hit its mark. He steps in and grabs the gun as she cocks it. As soon as he walks into the room, he wants to know what's wrong with her. Elgin shows Tilly how to crochet. Fatima says that everyone should stay away. After telling her how great she is, Tilly tells her she will be a great mom. Fatima asks the woman how she found out she was pregnant. Tilly tells her that she knows how to spot a pregnant woman because she has 4 kids and 7 grandchildren. After that, a car pulls up to the curb. Matthias answers the door while Boyd, Donna, and Jim are there. While Christy is getting drinks, Mari thinks she hears cicadas. When Christy comes back with a glass of water, the bugs land on her. When Mari tells Christy about the cicadas, Christy calms her down by telling her that they are just a dream. Jim tries to get away, but an armed guard stops him while Boyd and Donna calm down the people in the area. Boyd says that danger is invited every time someone opens a door. When Christy thinks Mari is about to choke her, she screams for help. He says Mari needs a doctor, not a boyfriend. Donya can talk to Ellis for Boyd if he needs to. Elgin said that in his dream, a little boy taking the bus was white. It was the kid who would not stop singing, he said. Here they come for 3. Bekta says it sounds like an old-fashioned kid's song. She goes on, they pull, they break, and they steal. Everyone here has to pay. They'll be here for 3 hours if you don't stop the music. Jade tells Tabitha that what she is suggesting is crazy. Her words remind him of what he said before, that everything is connected. As she works on the drawing with the building, she wonders if it's the link. She says that her saving the kids might depend on their safe return. A sharp shriek draws their attention. At the same time as Randall and Mari, they find Julie fighting cicadas on the floor. After what happened last night, which looked like a seizure, Christy starts by assessing Julie Matthew. Vic and Tian Chen Lu took Ethan Matthews to a diner to keep him safe from all the chaos. When Boyd Stevens and Jade worry about Julie's health, they feel helpless. After coming up with a plan, Boyd quickly goes to talk with Sarah Myers. Donna, Dale, and Elgin are looking for Randall near the RV park. Even though Randall is a jerk, Donna says she won't leave him. He walks up and sees Randall lying on the floor. He wants to know where the bodies are while she checks for a pulse. She said that the silver bullet theory didn't work. When she finds out Randall is still alive, she tells Elgin and Dale to bring him to the car. Randy opens his eyes and screams while Dale holds his shoulder. At the same time, Julie and Marielle both scream. It has been found that all three of them have eyes that are wet. Sarah, Boyd, and Kenny are on their way to the shell of an old castle that is falling apart. She doesn't understand how what they're doing will help. Boyd says that after following the little boy in White's directions, they got to the tree that led him back to the well where it all started. After saying that he had dreamed about Boy in White, Elgin says that there must be a link. She tells them that the boy in white didn't look like a real boy. Boyd says Sarah might use this as a chance to fix how people see her in the neighborhood. He looks for a picture of how the castle used to look. She first says that she heard it before naming the place. Neither Boyd nor Kenny can see the package she is looking for so badly. She says they're yelling while she cries out because her nose is bleeding. Sarah rubs her ears and hums the childhood song. She says that only one of them will not do, it needs all of them. As Boyd and Kenny lead her away from the ruins, she says that Boyd's choice to let it go makes her laugh. She says that the goal is to harm people. He thinks, how can I stop it? She tells him that Julie and Mari are very close to dying. She says that the only way to make things better is to turn off the music. Tilly is in charge of a prayer group. Donna has made it clear that she wants Matthias to put them in the shed. Tabitha tells Jim Matthews that the last time they saw each other, Victor's mother Miranda was on her way to a tower to save the kids. She says it might have something to do with her dreams and fears. He talks about the time when his tower theory turned out to be wrong. It's also important to remember that Miranda isn't there. She tells him that she has plans to do something. The food is brought back by Victor, Lou, and Ethan. Victor is asked by Tabitha if he knows how to get to the tower. He is adamant that he only knows about the bottle tree. He brings out a drawing of the bottle tree from the collection. Boyd says Kenny and Sarah should go back to town. According to Kenny, the most important thing is to destroy the music box. Boyd asks how after being reassured that he is aware of the risks. They all agree that making sure everyone feels safe is the most important thing. Reggie wants to say sorry to Ellis Stevens for being quiet last night. He talks about how Paula was Reggie's rock. The things that happened with Paula were not his fault, Ellis tells him. Fatima suggests getting married today instead of tomorrow, when the weather might not be good. Jade tries to decide what to do as Tom gets closer. It takes some time for him to explain his idea. Tom wants to go back to the cave entrance where Victor and Tabitha saw the sign. Everyone starts laughing after a short fight. Tom says people shouldn't think about what might happen when they do the right thing. Instead, they should follow their own sense of what is right. Matthias puts the guns away when Reggie comes with him. He cuts his throat while they are sitting there. With a gun in his hand, he comes out of the shed. When Jade loses his balance, he ties one end of the rope to a tree and goes into the underground cave. After sliding down a slope, he stops at the bottom of it. As the light fades, his puppet dreams get worse. He goes up to them because he thinks a famous person is messing with Boyd's works. If Father Khatri were there, he would be the one to say it is God's work. He tells Father Khatri off for praying with his last breath, even though he doesn't believe in God. Donna tells him that tampering with mail is against the law at the federal level. He then lashes out at a metal mailbox. Mari's health is getting worse, which worries Christy. Mari made her believe that they could do something. His father, Bing Qian Lu, said, "If you're just a thread, it's hard to see a sweater." He admits that the only thing he knows is what that means. Boyd tells Doris that Sarah said Mari, Julie, and Randall are going to die. He then says that it will not be possible to hide it after they die. He is upset about having to destroy a made-up music box because it is making him angry. She praises all the good things he has done for the community. She says that Ellis and Fatima are tying the knot to make the most of the short time they have together. When Jade is with kids, her fantasies look like Tabitha's. It turned out that his finding of the symbol, which happened while kids yelled Ang Kui, was a dream. Tabitha goes with Victor to the bottle tree that doesn't seem to be there anymore. He is drawn to the place where bottles are clinking together. He says that's where he found his mother. They walk around to the other side and find the hole. He says that the bottle tree leads to the tower and each faraway tree leads to a different place. After stepping into a faraway tree, she is in the forest that leads to the door to the tower. Fatima is led down the aisle by Boyd. When they write their own vows, Fatima quotes her father, "Life is a journey through the unknown. Your mind and eyes may sometimes lie to you, but your heart will never lie." She tells Ellis everything on her mind. He tells her how he felt about her the first time he saw her. Boyd tells them he loves them and hopes the best for them. Boyd leaves with the flashlight in his hand and runs into Reggie, who is loading a shot into his gun. He points the gun at Boyd after cocking it. He thinks that he killed Paula. Reggie shoots Boyd in the left shoulder and tells him that he had nothing to do with her death. Reggie puts another bullet into the chamber as Boyd falls to the ground. Boyd shoots him several times before he can make the shot. He shines his flashlight on the spot where he met Martin. He finds the music box, Mari, Randall, and Julie all tied to a wall. Abby Stevens begs him not to break the music box as he is about to do it. The chained prisoners woke up with death roars. She tries to talk him out of breaking the music box. She says it feeds on people's hope, which makes them want to hurt. Fear doesn't feed the trees, hope does. The 3 hostages come through as he breaks the music box. A German shepherd runs away in the opposite direction from Boyd, who is standing in the middle of the castle ruins. When Tabitha hears Angkui sounds, she goes up a spiral stairs. The boy in white pushes her off the tower at the top. She wakes up in a hospital to the sound of ringing all the time. Dr. Brody is brought back by the nurse. She learns that 3 days ago, 2 walkers found her on a trail in the woods. As the last show ends, she is shocked to see a busy city below the window. So, what's going on here? Victor mentioned the adults were going to save the kids in the tower, but when Tabitha got there were no kids at all. It looked more like a cave or crypt. The vines hint that the kids might be kept underground somewhere, but definitely not in the tunnels Jade is exploring. Not right now, anyway. The kids keep saying Angkui whatever that means. The subtitles show this word. It's got to mean something. More mysteries to crack in season 3. Apart from people not talking to each other to solve the puzzle, a point Jade literally brings up that should inspire some teamwork. One thing that bugged me was the guy who shot Boyd. He was annoying from the start, but his escalation was wild. He didn't just overpower Matthias, he slit his throat. What? I thought he was possessed or something, like Sarah was, but no, he just went for a gun to kill Boyd for some reason. A shooting spree like Abby's that Boyd had to stop would have been way more exciting. Instead, the guy just wounds Boyd with buckshot, and Boyd kills him. It added some tension but felt unnecessary. Overall, I thought this was an awesome season finale that nailed almost everything and ended with a crazy twist I didn't see coming. What a great show. What did you think?